Good afternoon. This is not going to be the type of video I usually put on my channel. It's a message for AI companies. At the moment, we're seeing AI having quite a small effect on business productivity, and that's because individual employees are using AI to help their existing workflows, but businesses are not reorienting their processes to exploit what AI can do. If you can overcome this, you'll be really changing the world, or at least the world's economy. So let me briefly tell you my perspective of what it takes to persuade a business to change its process, which is derived from 10 years of trying to get businesses to do different things to exploit technologies. Essentially, it boils down to showing the business, firstly, that you understand what their current process actually is. Second, that you can relate what their process actually currently is to model a level of abstraction up from there. So that's where you're going to talk about what risks are being managed, rather than like at the level of this is what you do. The level up is where it's why is this part of the process here? What risk is it managing? What risk is it creating, etc. For the whole process. Like, let's not underestate this. That is a huge amount of work. Then you need to show the business that you have a new process, and that new process effectively manages all of the same risks that they were previously managing. And lastly, and still very significantly, you have to show that you've considered and appropriately managed or proposing appropriate management of any new risks that are inherent to the new technology that you're proposing the business uses. Obviously, there are some businesses who operate in a constant state of having done those first two things. So they're very clear that they know what their business process is and why they're doing all of that. But even if you are one of those businesses where you've got really good knowledge of what your current process actually is and why you're doing everything, I don't think there's a path now to authorize a project to reshape that to take advantage of frontier AI model. And the reason for that is just doing the second and third bits and then implementing the plan takes so long that you won't get a net positive return. It doesn't really matter how good the frontier AI would be. By the time you are done getting to where you can exploit it, your expectation is that the AI companies will have stopped supporting that model. So there's no way you can make a profit by doing this. And we've seen this happen over and over again in previous technological leaps across various domains, like not even just computing, where there's a lot of hype about something, and because businesses don't adopt it until it reaches some kind of stability, and death of that innovation is the kind of a kind of stability, we see that something explodes in popularity and truly has all the potential that people think it does, but it can't get used because this rate of change, while it's in that excitement phase, is so high that businesses can't exploit it. So, you've seen this with most of the things in the Industrial Revolution, more recently with like CNC controlled mills and routers and whatever. Like when they're fresh and new and advancing at a huge rate, you can't reshape your business around it because you don't know that thing that you're reshaping it around will still exist or be relevant or be purchasable or maintainable in the 5-6 years time when you think you're going to start seeing a profit from it. So I'm assuming also that you don't want to be another one of those industries where it has to run out of velocity and stop progressing before anyone can get advantage from it. There's a few obvious things I've just hinted at which you could do to improve that perception, and I'm sure you've considered them. But what I actually want to talk to you about is cutting down the time it takes to do those steps. I previously outlined the 1, 2, 3, 4 of showing the process will work, and even cutting down the time it will take to implement a new process. As I said, I've spent much of the last decade thinking about this because I've been doing this kind of process change for various businesses. And for a lot of that time, I've had a feeling that there was an empty space in what we're doing where there should be some kind of tooling that could make the whole game much more efficient, by which I mean we could do it faster for the same level of certainty that you're going to get what we're saying you're going to get. Or we could take as long to do it, but be extremely more certain that the outcome is going to be what we want. I think that reality, the sweet spot is is much more towards the first of those things. That's what people would prefer to have. Since I effectively retired a couple of years ago, I've had some amount of time on my hands and the mental freedom to think about this kind of thing. And without particularly trying that hard to do it, I was really trying to improve my golf swing. But, brain does what it's going to do. I think I've worked out the shape of what that tooling should be and the shape of how it can be built. So, but to be clear, I'm not going to hand you, I'm not able to hand you the tooling. I'm not able to hand you the prompt that will get Claude Code or whatever is the new hotness this week to write the tooling for you. It's at a earlier stage than that, but I think if you're interested in building something like this and you don't know where to start, it's a starting point, and I think it should get to an ending point where you can make a lot of money because people will be able to adopt your technology much faster. Anyway, I've decided I don't want to try and build this myself, so I'm looking to hand over what I've got to someone who is interested in building it. And my pitch is really, I've scouted out this domain, this area. I think I can communicate effectively to an engineering team what it is they would need to do next to make progress on this. Treat me as that scout party, bring me in and debrief me, and I'll hand it over to you and I'll walk away. And I don't have to worry that I've got this thing that could improve the world's economy and I've done nothing with it. And hopefully it works out. It does improve the world's economy, and obviously you'll be making so much money you'll need to hire people to hold your wallet up. That's the pitch. I think it will take me less than 2 weeks to transfer everything. Like, I think if we were all on the same wavelength and had the same kind of background, it's probably well under 4 hours to communicate everything that I know. I'm assuming that won't be the case, and we'll have to create some kind of shared metaphors to talk about all this stuff. And also that I don't know what I think I need to tell you isn't everything I need to tell you, and that your guys will have questions for me, and that will take up much of the time. But still, I think 2 weeks seems about right. If you're interested in doing that debriefing thing on me, get in touch and we can discuss terms. To be very clear, I'm not trying to get a job at any of your companies. Don't interpret this as that kind of plea. And if what you want to propose only makes sense to you if it ends with me working for you, assume that isn't going to happen. I'm not saying it can't happen, but please assume it's not going to happen. I want to spend most of this year on my music and my golf, and I don't want to spend it sat in one of your offices. No offense. Anyway, get in touch if you want to do something on this. Otherwise, I won't be offended if you all decline. And to my friends who work at these AI companies who I'm going to send this video to, if you think what I'm saying is totally insane and you don't want to pass it on, totally understand, and I won't be offended either. I mean, if you want me to be offended, let me know and I'll pretend. But this is what it is. If you want it, you can ask. If you don't want it, don't. And it changes nothing either way for me. Thank you for your time. Cheerio.